Hi guys, welcome to FinStreet. Have you ever wondered what will happen to all your life savings that you have invested in a DeFi protocol? If the DeFi protocol is made of some malicious code or a hacker hacks it, you can lose all your money. And if you have saved your life savings into a protocol, then this must be an area of concern for you. And I was also very tensed for the same. I decided to do some research and find out that what is the best way to go for it and what is the best way in my fundamental analysis so that I don't lose out on this black swan event. This black swan event has occurred many times before, as we have covered earlier also. When I was researching for this video, a great report came to my hand. This report mentioned each and every step from the beginning till the end. The report is very great and is issued by Quill Audits, one of the best companies in smart contract auditing platform, where companies can come and get their smart contract audited. They have audited more than 100 smart contracts and have a record of auditing more than 1 lakh lines of code, which makes it a very reliable source for this report and for our today's video. So let's start. Hi guys, so we are at this report which says it's issued by Quill Audits and it's DeFi Security Synopsis 2020, and I find this report very helpful and I'm going to share it with you, the key findings in this report. So this report says that DeFi is the new face of finance and it's used by millions of people around the globe, since it's borderless and people can use it from every corner of the world, which is why the DeFi ecosystem is getting so much attention from the people all around the globe, and people love to use DeFi. But it's at very nascent stage, and when something is at nascent stage and it's getting so much visibility, then there are some risks involved with this DeFi ecosystem, which can probably create some problems for us, right? So what is the current scenario? So as we can see in this chart, the total value logged skyrocketed as we figure out that there is something called Corona. It basically grew from somewhere around 600 million to 1.2 billion dollars in the first stage itself, right? So as we can see that the total value logged in different DeFi protocols has skyrocketed 380% from Q2 2020 and topped to $10 billion in September 2020. This is because people were not sure that what they want to do and what they don't want to do. Everything was shut down and there was lockdown all around the globe. So people figured out like this can be a cool way of making money, and they actually made some money out of it. And once the first stage settled, so we have seen some slowdown in this. But since the third stage, we have seen some steady growth again in the TVL, that is total value logged in the DeFi ecosystem. And suddenly in the fourth stage, we are facing the most mammoth stage of COVID, and the price in the TVL logged is increasing as per it. And we can see that TVL we have seen certain ups and downs in TVL, that is total value logged, but the total addresses is growing at a steady rate. This implies that this is a very good opportunity and people are just stepping in, they're not stepping out of it, right? So they might or might not want to risk their capital, but they are the interest in DeFi ecosystem is increasing day by day, right? There have been a significant increase in the total value logged in the DeFi, as we can see this. If you see at a macro level, the price is just increasing, right? So it's increasing at a good rate. So we have seen a certain surge in the total value logged, and total value logged is at $14.1 billion till today. This is a huge number if you see that DeFi is a very recent trend and there are $14 billion logged in DeFi. This raise a particular concerns for the people like you and me, that now people have incentive to break this system and get all this money out of it, right? 96% of the transaction volume are happening on Ethereum blockchain, and Ethereum is one of the biggest platform in DeFi ecosystem. All of this hype started with Ethereum and everything is building on Ethereum firstly. From $14.5 billion, $10.5 billion are alone logged in DeFi ecosystem, which is huge, and it accounts like 57% of total active wallets, which is a huge number, and which particularly suggests that Ethereum is a platform which is very probable in this DeFi ecosystem. So if you see the volumes on DEX, then it's increasing very rapidly in quarter 3 2019, quarter 4 2019, quarter 1 2019, 2020, quarter 2 2020. There was a steady increase, but in quarter 2020 it like busted off in volumes, and you can see that we are unable to fix this in one frame, and this is so huge, right? It was around $10 billion in quarter 2 2020, and quarter 3 2020 it is more than $120 billion, more than 12x of growth in just one quarter. So the numbers are very huge, and we have seen some very good numbers in this. But on the top of it, do you know that there are 100 million lost in thefts and hacking attacks in this year alone? So there are some risks. For example, we have seen that in quarter 1 and 2 2020 there was just $128 million which was lost, and in quarter 3 and 4 2020 there was 340 million and 292 million in just hacks and thefts, and this number is very huge, and it's very alarming also, right? So they start up with this that what is DeFi. So DeFi is just a banking layer without being trustless. So there is no central authority which controls the whole system. The whole system is governed by the code itself, and it's self-sovereign. It's not controlled by anybody, and this is not just confined to one area. Anybody anywhere in the world with just internet connection can use DeFi for their convenience. They can use it to lend tokens, they can use it to exchange tokens, they can use it to create NFT, that is non-fungible token for their art. They can use it for any other medium. So there is a huge space where DeFi can be integrated. It can be integrated with within NFTs, with while exchanging token, while saving tokens, or just lending or borrowing protocols. So there is huge service which is self-sovereign and is not controlled by any central authority, for example banks, central banks, or the government. So this is self-sovereign program which runs on itself with the help of code. And what are smart contracts? So if DeFi is the body, then smart contracts are the soul of this. Smart contracts is basically something with the help of which DeFi runs. So smart contract is basically lines of code which can be used to engage itself once a certain action is taken, right? So these smart contracts are just gives credibility between the third party, and if you have smart contracts, then you don't need any third party to ensure that okay, this will happen or this will not. This is a basic some history of smart contract. That it was first smart contract was written in 1998 by Nick Sapsku, which was one of the core believers of Bitcoin also, right? And there are a lot more blockchains that are trying to use this. Tron is there, Tezos is there, EOS is there, Algorand is there. So all these blockchains are also providing the same service of smart contracts as provided by Ethereum. So Ethereum is one of the first and most prominent, but now we have different other options such as Tron, Tezos, EOS, and Algorand. So as we have seen that smart contracts are the soul of DeFi, and whatsoever will run on DeFi is very dependent on smart contract, because these are the basic lines of code that will govern that what will happen on the DeFi ecosystem or not. There is no third party which can control the process. So if smart contract is is very difficult. So if smart contract is malicious, or if it has some defunct in it, then we can see some serious problems. For example, in our normal world, it was like there was two parties that wanted a contract. Now they will create a contract and they'll go to a third party, and then it will execute. So even if there is a problem in the contract, the third party will check it or will report that the malicious activity or some if there is a flaw in this contract. But in case of smart contracts, they are basically any two parties can generate a smart contract, and they will execute if all the conditions are met. There is no one to check it. So hence, if there is a issue with the smart contract, then one of the two parties can lose funds or can be taken at a back step with this smart contract. So auditing of smart contract is very important. So basically these are the projects by market capitalization that started from the biggest one. So Maker is the biggest smart contract platform, all the way to Yearn Finance, and we can see all these platforms in market valued in billions of dollars. So now coming to the basic thread that we have discussed in the beginning, that what are the vulnerabilities in the DeFi ecosystem. According to a report, 20% of the hacks in 2020 belong to the DeFi ecosystem. 20% of all the hacks in crypto ecosystem was in DeFi, and it was just 2020, and we have seen a certain surge in 2021. DeFi ecosystem, which amounts to $98 million, approximately $100 million in 2020 alone, right? So this is a huge number, and you can see the possibility of its future as the adoption will grow, the more the TVL will increase, and with increased TVL, the hackers will be incentivized to do the hacks on that. So we need to create a system which is foolproof, which is hack proof against all the system. So one of the assumption is the main reason behind this exploitation is the smart contracts that govern DeFi ecosystem are unaudited. So people lock their funds in unaudited DeFi smart contracts, and they tend to lose all their money, which is the reason of concern for most of the users. So you need to see that whether your DeFi smart contracts is audited or not. Coming to the need of DeFi smart contract auditing is that there is a huge dependency on smart contracts, right? So if DeFi has to run smoothly, then the smart contracts have to be completely off the bugs, and we cannot afford to have bugs or bottlenecks in our smart contract. And how do we do that? We can do this via third party which reviews every line of code. So every line of code needs to be audited so that we can be double sure that the funds are secure and there is no bug or bottlenecks in the DeFi that we are platform that we are using. So talking about the recent DeFi hacks, we can have big names like BCX Protocol, Harvest, Maker, and this chart particularly here shows that what all hacks we have seen. We have seen BCX hack of $300,000, $600,000, and then $803 million of in Maker, and none of these funds were recovered. We have seen a 25 million, a very big hack in D-Force, and we recovered all these funds, but there was a vulnerability which got exploited, and people lost $25 million in D-Force alone. And you can see all these numbers, and they are increasing steadily, and which is again another red flag if we talk about the DeFi ecosystem. And all these reports that they occur due to the faulty code in the smart contract. So the solution is very simple, that if we can get audited each line of code, then we will decrease the probability of faulty code, and the security of our fund can be increased by multiple times. So again, what is the smart contract auditing? That I have already told you. It's a piece of code that so smart contract is a piece of code which can have potential bugs. So auditing is nothing but we are finding that bugs and the vulnerabilities in the system, so that the system is hack proof or foolproof, right? So this is the basic concept of smart contract auditing. Who does the smart contract auditing? It's obvious, but the set of experts who are experts in the field, in the coding, and who understand this department in depth can do smart contract auditing. So the smart contract auditors needs to be experienced in the field so that they can do it. So these are the different kind of smart contract auditing. Smart contract, this is the different DeFi attacks, like front running, with bots are front running you, token attacks, people buy token and then sell it, phishing flash loans, people take flash loans without collateral and they don't pay it back. Single function flaw, that is that if there is a flaw in a single function, then hackers can exploit that function. Most of the hacks happen via single function flaw. Multiple contract, if you are taking if you are interacting with multiple contracts and there is problem with that interaction, so hackers can interact with that also. Cross function retency, so if two functions are interacting with themselves, then there can be some problem. Oracle manipulation, if you are getting your data from a certain source and that oracle is compromised in the future, then we can see some kind of DeFi hack. Nested bots are the bots that run on specific commands and can run if certain criteria is met, and they can take all your funds. Ramping market network congestion, so what they can do is they can just take all the funds with them, and once they have all the funds, and so they will just dump this fund collectively on you, and this happens within seconds, and you can lose all your money. So they'll accumulate all the funds, and then they'll dump on you, and they'll make money out of the profit and having same number of tokens in the end. So these are all the DeFi attacks that can happen. So if these are the attacks, then what are the types of audits? So we have different types of audit, that is interim audit, that is if there are 2 annual audits scheduled, so we can have an interim audit in between so that we can see that everything is working fine. This happens generally in middle of a session. Full security audit is the audit that generally companies opt when in the beginning of at the launch of their DeFi protocol, so that they can have a complete audit line to line, so that they know. Basic security audit is a regular audit that needs to be done, and it's a day's task, and people can opt for basic security audit at basically any time. They can opt for basic security audit at the beginning of any major event. So what are the common challenges of smart contracts? First of all, we need a strong team, a team with strong technical background who can understand it, right? So that they can, they have in-depth technical knowledge to understand and to verify these contracts. Second problem is reverse transaction. Since smart contracts run on public blockchain, so every piece of data is available publicly, which makes it very difficult to reverse test the transactions, and the trade-off between the transaction is very difficult. Interoperability and international standards. So we need to create some international standards, and your smart contract authority company needs to work with the international standardization while working with the smart contracts. And the smart contracts need to work with the different organizations or different chains at certain times. So there should be a nature of interoperability in the smart contract. Next problem is competition. Since smart contracts are very becoming more and more viable, and people are using it very frequently, and we are seeing a lot more inflow of new DeFi projects, so that makes it very difficult for the companies, since smart contracts have a competition with the existing system also, so it becomes very difficult for them to compete with the current system in this scenario. Next is benefits of smart contract auditing. As obvious as it may sound, but there are lot more smart contract auditing, because we have seen in this video that what are the attack vectors on the DeFi ecosystem, and how we can cope with them. So the benefits of smart contract auditing starts with the very obvious one, that it helps to identify the potential risk and vulnerabilities in your DeFi projects. And it's done with the vigorous activities that they will test your code in every environment, and operationally and technically, to get the best thing out of it. And then the report that is generated at the end of a smart contract auditing helps in optimizing the code. It highlights all the bugs, and if once you fix it, so it's a better structure of your contract code. During the audit, the smart contracts are tested in various environments, right? So it is tested for speed and security with various bots and automated instruments. So it can give you a test that is it optimized for the performance or for the traffic that we can get in the future. So this can help you that if your code is not optimized enough, you can optimize it enough for the big traffics, because in the smart contracts auditing, the smart contract auditing companies test it with all the automated tools. In the terms of operating cost, the smart contract auditing generally tells you that whether your code is completely optimized or not. In Ethereum, for example, all the smart contract platforms, for example, Ethereum, motivates people to have the optimized code, that is, have a small short code as much as possible, because your gas fee depends on the lines of code that you have. So if your code is not optimized, then your operating cost will be way higher than an optimized code. So a quality audit will help you in that optimization also, which will reduce your operating cost in the future. The quality audit also helps you in determining the compliance with the different rules and regulations. For example, there are different rules and regulations for every industry. For example, insurance companies can have different rules and regulations across the board. So your smart contract auditing company can help you with all these regulations from industry, which can vary from industry to industry or location to location. The last and the most important benefit of smart contract auditing is that if you are going for an ICO or IPO or STO, then smart contract auditing can create a level of trust or a layer of trust for your investors and for the people who are investing in the space. If you have an audited DeFi protocol, then people are more likely to invest in your fund than in a non-audited protocol. For example, I don't ever invest my funds or buy the token which is unaudited at this moment. So I always tend to invest in a token. Or thank you for watching this video, guys. If you have liked the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get regular update from our side. We cover news stories to educational videos and how to use platform videos for you. So if you have any suggestion, write it down in the comment section so that we can act on it. Thank you. Bye bye. See you next time.